In this video I will show you how we implemented permaculture zones to create a sustainable, efficient and productive land management system at Permakai, our permaculture farm in the southwest of Auckland, New Zealand. This is the route my DJI Air 2S drone took as it travelled through the different zones. To start with Zone 0 and the house where we live. On the left you can see the orchard, our Zone 1, the place we go every day to collect eggs and harvest fruit. In the orchard we have our chickens and a selection of citrus, stone and pipfruit trees. Here we see the market garden, which we haven't sown this year since we're selling the property. At the top of the frame you can see the propagation greenhouse and the hardening off shed. To the left of them are 6 raised perennial beds with Jerusalem artichokes, asparagus, climbing beans and herbs. We offer gardens to local growers, and there still is one producing food. On the left you see our food forest appearing. This is Zone 2, where we come frequently to perform maintenance and harvest the bounty. It has a whole range of different fruit and nut tree guilds and 2 groves of bananas. We fenced it off to protect it from any cows that may get loose. It's a lovely place to sit in the evening. Back to Zone 1, and here is one of the growers who's been growing with us now for a couple of years. He grows vegetables for market, and the agreement is we're allowed to harvest what we need for our own personal needs. Now we move south to Zone 3, where we regularly would come to check on the stock. At the moment we do not have any stock, so we've cut the field for hay. At the back you see a Zone 5 shelter belt tree where we never come. These trees protect us from any spray drift from the industrial cropper you can see behind. Turning round now to look towards the north, you can see the shelter belt on the left hand side, which protects us from the predominantly southwesterly wind. Straight ahead is a forested area of the property, our Zone 4, where we come occasionally. The first area is the native forest, which is composed of a whole selection of native trees including kauri, miro, rewa and many more. Further north we see the exotic forest with the Tasmanian blackwood, black walnuts, horse chestnuts. This has been planted on a steep slope and helps to anchor the clay subsoil. As we move out into the paddock you will notice the height difference. Up to now the drone has been flying at about 30 meters, and now as the ground drops away the height becomes 60 meters. There's a 30-meter difference between the lower and the upper parts of the farm. There you can see our paddock, which is the contours made obvious by the cut hay. That's another Zone 3. In the distance there is what we call the small stream, which we have deliberately tried to shade by allowing the trees and bushes to grow and by planting flax and some other natives. That's another Zone 4 where we very seldom come. Onto the bottom paddock, which is different soil type and is excellent for growing vegetables. At the top you can see the bore we've put in and you should be able to see the solar panel that powers the solar pump. This pumps during the daytime into that 30,000 litre tank you see in the middle of the screen. The water is pumped out from there to our stock troughs and holding tanks at the top of the property. On the right, or west, is the final Zone 5, where we only come to cut bamboo for stakes. There's a rather significant stream there called the Waitangi stream. Continuing back up the slope, you can see a bit of a keyline erosion where the clay subsoil has forced the winter water out to the surface. Beyond that, our small paddock with the septic field running diagonally across. The lush vegetation is adored by our cows. As we come closer, you'll see the right-of-way split, the left side going to the neighbours and the right to our property. You'll also see the banana planted there to give some wind protection from the northeasterly winds. They work very well. And this is the barn, which is Zone 1. We come there every day. The barn houses our education space where we teach PDCs and other courses. And beside the barn are the 2 water tanks. We store the water harvested from the barn roof and from the bore water. They are connected to our irrigation system. This is an example of what the place looks like when it's fully in production. This featured in Rural Living, one of the local farming magazines. This shot gives a good view of our Zone 1 orchard and production areas. And as we slowly make our way back, you can see the house to Zone 0 and home. Thank you.